Welcome to our Physio Pilates class. My name's Amanda Savage and I'm a physiotherapist Pilates instructor. I'm going to take you through nearly an hour of exercises with some warm-ups in standing, then kneeling and lying on our mats. And towards the end, we'll finish with the relaxation technique, which is so important at the moment. This class is not for beginners. If you're a beginner, you need to have a look at some of our recorded videos first. But if you've been doing Pilates for a while with me or somewhere else, please come and join in and have a lovely time. Start standing clear of your mat so that you can really make contact with the floor and think about your posture. Think big toe, baby toe, heel, spread your weight out evenly. And then come forward onto your big toe, baby toe, and back onto your heel. Take your time to move between these two places. I always start the same way so that your brain gets in the rhythm really quickly of what we're going to do next. Let your weight settle into the middle of your feet, toes soft to the floor. Then let the floor push you taller, stretching up through your calves, tightening your knees, and then softening them. Reach out through the backs of your thighs, focus in on the ring of bones that makes your pelvis. Find your hip bones for a moment and deliberately move yourself in and out of neutral spine. Again, to tell your brain the extremes that we're trying to avoid and to find that true neutral halfway between the two. Sneak your fingers around to find your tummy muscles and focus on them. Let them hang out on purpose. Then take a nice big breath in, letting them swell a little bit. And as you breathe out, draw the abdominals in, let the pelvic floor lift and breathe. Then bring your hands beside you. Stretch really tall, lift up through the top of your head, pick your shoulders up, drop them down. Start with some arm circles. So shoulders up to your ears, round and down. Lift your chin. Think core, but get the shoulders moving. Nice. Then pause, take the arms wide, bring the fingertips in and get the elbows involved in your circles. Up, round and down. You might get some cricking and cracking, but that should feel like a good thing. Keep the tummy muscles in, trying not to let them stick out against your t-shirt. And then pause, go really wide, big arm circles. Up, follow with your eyes, round and down. Forward, lift, round and down. And one more. Nice. Then we're going to go straight into a bit of balancing. We're going to start with our arms wide and bring a knee up in front as we bring our hands together. Then wide again as you put it down. Tighten the leg you're standing on. Bring your hands up in front and go wide. So think about the bottom you're standing on. Make that one strong. Lift out of your waist. Head tall. Trying to make it very subtle when you swap from one leg to the other. Finding your balance, working your arms. Then we're going to pause and I'm going to add a bit. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see. We're going to bring the leg up in front, but when the arms go wide, put it right back behind you. So it's sort of a lunge at the front and a good stretch at the back. And then you've got to pull it up and through, tightening the bottom you're standing on, and then same leg, back and stretch. Coming up and through, same leg, back and stretch. Push the heel down, give the calf a stretch, up and back and down. And one more this side. And then back to the middle and change sides. I find it easiest to start knee up, arms in front, and then go back and stretch. Knee up, back and stretch. You want to feel it's requiring a little bit of heart and lungs as well. pull up, back and stretch. Pull up, back and stretch. One more. Lovely. And then back to the front. Now I'm going to show you an arm bit and a leg bit and then we'll put them together. We're going to bring our hands by our ears and cheeks and the tummy in, and the hands are going to stretch forward and then come back again. So this is the arm part. And then what the legs are going to do, we're going to go back to that first leg, and the leg is going to lift off the floor as your arms go forward and then touch down. And lift off the floor and touch down. But rather than looking up like I was doing then, once you know what you're doing, I want you to look at the floor ahead of you so you don't get neck ache. So elbows back, fingers by your face or your temples, leg out, and we'll do 6 each side. Tummy in, stretch your arms, balance, look at your skirting or a bit ahead of you, touch back. Stretch, touch back. Blowing out, release. Blowing out, release. 2 more this side. 1 more. Then draw your leg in, swap it round. So start with your leg out behind, little lunge on your front foot, hands by your temples but eyes looking ahead, not up at the wall. Blowing out to lift and stretch, release. Blow out, lift and stretch, release. There's a lot going on. And 1 more. Lovely. Bring yourself tall and release any tension in your back with a couple of roll downs. So a breath in. As you breathe out, think tummy in, pelvic floor. Drop your chin on your chest. Let the weight of your head and shoulders slowly roll towards your knees and down towards your feet. Let yourself hang, breathe deep and wide. And then use the abdominals to drive you back up, restacking your spine, dropping your shoulders. Couple of breaths at the top so that you're not dizzy, and then let it roll again. Tummy in, pelvic floor, chin on your chest. Roll yourself down your own body. Let yourself hang. Allow any tension of the day to drop away. Then use the abdominals to drive you back up, bottom down, waist, chest, head. Couple of breaths and let it roll again. Chin on your chest, shoulders roll forward, sink past your knees to your feet. Have a lovely stretch and then draw yourself back up. Enjoy 1 more, being really conscious of stretching the back and spine first, and then let the hips join in. If you're a stretchy person, lean on your big toes. If you're not very stretchy, let your knees bend a little. And then use your muscles to drive you back up and find your full height. Lovely. Come and kneel on your mat. First of all, some waiter's arms. Bring your hands flat in front of you with your elbows tucked in. Draw tall through your spine. Breath in and breathing out to consciously engage your lower abdominals, a little bit of pelvic floor. Then you can take your hands out to the sides and stretch them wide as if you were going to give pizzas to 2 people off into your peripheral vision. Then bring the elbows back in, tucking them, pulling your shoulders away and back in front. Breathe in and then breathe out as you stretch. Head up, chin up, eyes up. And then pull the elbows in, pull the shoulders away from your ears. Find the front. Breathing in and out. In and out. Keep those shoulders down. Breath in, tummy in, breathe out. Elbows in and close. 2 more. Open and stretch. Open the chest, lift the chest bone. Elbows and close. One more. And stretch. And back in. Then take these hands up like paddles, putting yourself like the middle of a blender. Keep the abdominals in, squeeze the bottom muscles a little bit and turn to one side. Come back to the middle and turn to the other side. Back to the middle, tummy in and turn. And turn. Then a nice little add-on is to bring one leg forward in front of you. Turning in towards that knee, you have to fight with your tummy muscles to bring yourself round. And then turning away from the knee is a lovely stretch through that hip that's open. Keep the elbows up in line with your shoulders. Twist in, work the tummy muscles. And then twist away, open the hip and the chest. Come back to the middle, twist in. Turn away. One more this way. Use the abdominals, draw them in, twist yourself up, and then open and release. Back to the middle, swap it round. So bring your knee up, tummy in, blender arms, turn in towards your knee, and then turn away. Excuse my wobble. Back to the middle, turn in towards your knee. Shoulders away from your ears, stretch away. Twist. And release and open. One more all the way into the twist. Release and open. Back to the middle. Bring your hands down. Come and turn into a box shape on your hands and knees. Take a moment to find your neutral spine by rounding your back, dropping your chin, tucking your tailbones under, and then letting the tailbones out wide, dropping your waist and lifting your chin. And again, chin on your chest, round your back, tuck your tail under, and then release your tail, drop your tummy, lift your chin. Once more each way. Finishing in your neutral, which is when you're not all rounded up, you're not all dipped down, you're in your middle. And if you can see yourself on your screen, you'll see you've got a relatively flat back. Now, the movement's going to look simple. We're going to hold the tummy muscles towards us on purpose. Take one leg out, lift it up in line with your back, bring it down and draw it under, and then change it for the other leg. Out, lift, down, back under. But I want lots of attention to detail. In particular, it needs to be your bottom that lifts your leg, not an arching of your back. And as you swap feet, absolutely nothing else should move. So if there was a glass of champagne balanced on your bottom, it wouldn't fall off when you swap. And keeping that champagne steady should make you feel like you have to think about your abdominals when you swap sides. Then we're going to pause. Have a quick check of your neutral by rounding and dropping and coming back to that middle position. Now focus in on your hands and shoulders and pull your shoulders away from your ears to get a lovely neckline. Peel one hand off your mat and stretch it ahead of you. Then put it down and again, without a glass of champagne on your back moving, switch hands. And this should take a bit of thinking. So if you haven't got enough weight on your hands, it'll be too easy to swap. You'll be like, way, easy peasy. If you've got enough weight on your hands, you should feel that it is a tummy exercise when you do the swap. If it doesn't feel like enough of a tummy exercise, take your knees back and lift your feet clear and do your swap from this position. You're going to hear my voice change. Now I've got to work a lot harder to swap my hands. And I will have to shift my body weight a little bit, but you're trying not to shift very much. You're trying to use your core to keep you steady through the middle, so you become like a one-armed stool. If that's gone a step too far, pop the feet back on the ground and go for that middling difficulty. Try 2 more with each arm. And then when you're nice and even, sit back on your heels, give your wrists a break by doing some figure of eights. Now we're going to go forward to lie on our tummies. I'm not sure how well the sound will carry, but we're going to do similar. We're going to do alternate leg lifts, then alternate arm lifts, and then a bit of both together, just so you know what's coming. Now, if when you lie on your tummy, you never feel you can get your legs very far off the floor, pop your pillow under your hips, which is what I'm going to do because mine never go high if I don't have something there. So we're going to lie with a pillow, if you like one, under your lower hips. Big toes together to get you in nice alignment. And put your thumb and forefingers together to make a triangle to rest your forehead on. And that stops your nose banging on the floor. Let your body be heavy to start with and really release your abdominals. Then we have a breath in, and as you breathe out, draw the abdominals towards you on purpose. A little squeeze of the bottom muscles together, and then blowing out to lift a leg, in to touch it down. Blowing out to lift, in to touch it down. Keep the neck nice and long, looking down at the mat as if you were looking at the bottom of a swimming pool. Let the big toes brush past each other so you're always coming back to that nice middle line. It should feel like a bottom exercise, not a back exercise. Blowing out to lift, in to lower. Shoulders relaxed. Now when you do these, you never feel like you're doing very much till you stop. So do 4 more, blowing out to lift, in to lower. And then pause, big toes together and let go. And you should feel the legs and the bottom all switch off and go heavy again. We're going to do 8 more leg lifts, then we'll do some arms. So to prepare, big toes together, breath in, breathe out to engage the abdominals, squeeze the bottom muscles together a little bit on purpose, and then set yourself going with 8 more leg lifts. Imagine somebody is pulling your big toe to lift it clear of the floor. Keep the shoulders soft, upper back relaxed. Lovely. 1 more each leg. Big toes together. Let go completely. Then draw your hands out away from underneath your nose, resting your head on your forehead. Have your elbows a little bit bent to start and try the same thing with your arms. Breath in, breathe out to engage the abdominals, and then we're going to lift an elbow on one side and then the other side. Blowing out to lift, into lower. Then extend your arms a little so they're not quite so bent and try with that slightly straighter arm. But if you reach a point where now they won't lift off the floor, tuck them back into a bit more bent position and find your sweet spot where they lift comfortably without straining your neck. Check your tummy muscles are still in. And then pause. Now you're going to do your diagonals. So big toes together, drawing through the abdominals, little squeeze of your bottom, opposite arm and leg together, and then change. Just like going swimming, but we're going to keep the head in the middle. Brush the big toes past each other as they come down. One more each side. And then relax your feet, relax your arms. Draw your arms down beside you. I'm going to turn my head sideways so that you can hear me, but you're going to keep your forehead straight down to your mat. I'm going to say a breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, pelvic floor. Draw the shoulder blades back and down towards your feet. Let the hands lift beside you. Then tuck your chin a little bit in and bring your face away from your mat. And only if it's comfortable, slightly lift the feet clear. We call this a dart. We're going to fly through the air like a human dart and breathe. And then we let go carefully in reverse. Feet down, face down, hands down. Release the shoulders, release the core. And it's only as you let go at the end there that you think how hard you've been working. So same again, breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, pelvic floor. Breathe, draw the shoulder blades back and down. Breathe, let the hands float. Tuck the chin to bring the face just an inch off the mat. And then if it's comfortable, let both feet fly as well. Imagine a spike on the top of your head running across the room and fly like you're going to hit the skirting board. And breathe. Notice all those lovely postural muscles working down your back. And then lower your feet, lower your face. Release your hands. It's always a bit of a shock when you release the shoulders. Let go of the core. We'll do one more. So breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, pelvic floor. Shoulder blades back and down. Let the hands float. Tuck the chin, bring your face away, and let your feet float. Fly through the air like a human dart and breathe. And then slowly reverse. Feet, face, hands, shoulders, core. Lovely. No sleeping. Come and turn on your side to face the front. Have an arm out long and bring your feet and knees up in front of you so that it's a bit more like a lap compared to when we do clams and they're further back. Stack your hips, draw the abdominals in towards you. Keep firmly on your side, no twisting, and lift the whole foot and knee up together. Now you can go as high as you like, as long as you don't roll backwards, and then slowly put the feet and knees together. Abdominals in, lift your foot and knee together, and slowly down. Blowing out to lift and lower. Relax the shoulders, lift and lower. Keep them flowing. Two more. And one more. Bring the leg down, have a little rest, let the tummy go. Then we'll switch it back on, change direction. So breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, little bit of pelvic floor, hips stacked, little waist tunnel. Now let the leg come up, but drive it backwards. And we want two things here. We want to feel a stretch at the front of the thigh and a really good tighten of the glutes, the bottom muscles behind. When you can't go any further, let the leg ping forward again. So all the work's going backwards. So it's a really long blow out until you need to breathe in, and that's when you ping forward. So a lovely long blow out, stretching the front of the thigh, working the glutes, ping forward. If you're quite new to this, you can come down each time. But if you've been doing it for a while, I think you'll like just keeping going backwards and forwards. Two more. Squeeze back behind you, release. Squeeze back behind you, release. Knees together. Now back to the first exercise, blowing out to lift the square leg up and down, but it will get heavier quicker. So think bottom and leg on the way up, really keep an eye on the tummy muscles on the way down. Lovely, 4 more. Hips pushed away, little waist tunnel lift and lower. Foot and knee going together as a pair. 2 more. And last one. Stop, see what your tummy's been doing by letting it go. Once more, breath in, breathing out to engage. Now we're going to float the leg up, take it backwards. And then when it can't go backwards any further, straighten it out. So it will be at a bit of a backward diagonal. And then from here, drop it to the floor. And take your time so that you don't have to twist the leg to find the floor. And let that stretch develop down the front of the thigh and across the side and your lower back. Stack your hips, hold the tummy muscles in, and we're lifting the leg up and down, but keeping it a little bit behind us. So as well as working the muscles, we're getting this nice stretch on the abdominals. Take it slowly so that you're both working and stretching in the same exercise. Touch and then lift as you blow out, touch as you breathe in. Try to keep some weight on that front leg so that you're not drifting backwards. Nice. Pause with the leg on the floor. We'll do a second set. If you'd like a bit more stretch, bring the hands close overhead or follow your diagonal if that feels more natural out in front so you're lovely and long, and carry on lifting and lowering. Just enjoy that stretching through your waist and body. Legs a bit behind you. 3 more. Lovely. Then draw the legs in, bring the arms round in front. Rest your head on your pillow or on the floor, float your fingers up, follow them with your eyes, and allow your body gently to stretch backwards, opening your chest. Have a nice deep breath or two, and then fold the hands together. Imagine there's a big puff of air between your arms, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and floating your hands away from each other. And then fold that air back in as you come forward. Squash it down and then let it lift you and open you out. And then you bring it forward and squash it down again. 2 more. Flow with your own breath. And again. And bring your arms together. Lovely. Come and turn onto your back. And have a moment to get your back into a good position. You can do that with traditional little pelvic tilts, or I know a lot of people need to come right off the mat and land themselves back down. And I find it can be really helpful to put your hands on your hips and make sure that you land both your hips together. Because if your hips are even, your tailbone will definitely go through the middle of them. So take your time to line yourself up on your mat and settle into your neutral spine position. So you should feel there's a little tiny tunnel under your waist, not enough to get your hand under, just some fingertips. And then to hold this position so you don't just flick into an arch as soon as we move, we need to anchor with the lower abdominals. So breath in to get ready. As you breathe out, turn the abdominals on and a little lift of the pelvic floor like you've just put on some fantastic support pants. Now keep that little waist tunnel and bring your hands to the ceiling. Take one arm back behind you, brushing close to your ear, and then pull the hand overhead and take the other arm back, brushing close to your ear. Think about the angles of your thumbs, and the goal is symmetry. Trying to move your right arm and your left arm the same. And that should be a little bit harder than you might think, because we do tend to do so much moving with our dominant arms and not nearly as much with our least favourite arm. So take a moment to get some beautiful symmetry going. And just in case, make sure you've still got that bit of pelvic floor. It tends to sneak off when you get distracted. Lovely. One more. Now that the arms are a bit loose and the core's waking up, we're going to keep the ribs soft, like you've slightly pushed them onto the mat, and you're going to take your both arms back, but leave your ribs behind you, which may take a bit of thinking, especially if you're a little bit tight under the arms. Keep the head heavy on the pillow and drop those ribs down to the mat away from your arms. Have a breath, think tummy and pelvic floor, and pull both arms back up again. So ribs soft and low, little bit of pelvic floor, use your own arms like nice stretching weights to drop back towards the floor behind you. Have a breath and pull them on purpose back overhead. And again, blow out to stretch out. Use the weight of your arms for a stretch, have a breath and pull them back over. Think pelvic floor. One more plain one. Straight back. Arms should feel nice and heavy. Have a breath and pull back. Now check tummy and pelvic floor, neutral spine, and as both arms go back, take one leg out long, just skimming the floor, not touching, and hold your own body weight. Have a breath and then pull back to the middle. Change sides, tummy in, pelvic floor, stretch long, just skimming the ground, and breathe, and then pull back to the middle. Blowing out to stretch out, and then pull back to the middle. So it's kind of like a sit-up without actually lifting your head and shoulders. We're rather using the weight of your arms and legs to make the abs work. One more with each leg. Using the core to bring you back to the middle each time. And then pause, hands in the air. And fold one leg into tabletop. And if you're up to it, bring the second leg to join it. If you're not sure about the second leg, keep him on the floor and just do the work with the up leg. So we're going to bring the second leg up if you can. And now as your arms go back, your leg stretches out in a diagonal. And then you're going to pull back to the middle. Blowing out to stretch out. And then back to the middle. If it's too much for your back, you keep one foot on the floor and stretch the other leg out. And what you can do is 2 or 3 on one side and then switch it round. If you can hold a tabletop securely with a nice flat tummy, then you're alternating from one side to the other. Another alternative is just to do one arm, one leg, so the arms aren't quite so heavy. At any time, just hug your knees in if your back's had enough or your abs are bulging. Otherwise, we're going to go for 4 more, 2 with each leg. Shoulders down away from your ears. Lovely. And then soften your back by hugging your knees into your chest and really hooking your bottom off the floor so that it can come into a real rounded position, which is kind of the opposite to what it would have been wanting to start to do as you fatigued. Then lower your feet down, but keep the feet and knees really tight together close. And we're now going to work the outside of the bottom muscles. Hands relaxed beside us, tummy in, and use the abdominals to drive you up off the ground, lifting the hips towards the ceiling, keeping the knees really close. Have some hands for balance to start with, and open out one knee to the side, and then pull the knees tight together in the middle. Open out to the other side, pull the knees tight together in the middle. Let your breath flow out one way, in the other, not too important which one's which, but the important bit is that squeeze in the middle. It's really good for your glutes and really nice for switching on your pelvic floor. Squeeze in the middle. Squeeze in the middle. One more each way, and then we'll have a bottom rest. Knees together, lower your bottom. It gets it really well up and under. Now you can add the arms if you want to, keep your hands down if that was taking all your thoughts and control. Tummy in, pelvic floor, curl yourself up, arms to the ceiling. So it's the same arm and leg. If you do opposites, it's too easy because it balances you out. So this is going to make you want to tip a bit, and you've got to keep yourself pointing to the ceiling, especially the hand that isn't moving. Squeeze the knees in the middle. We're aiming for 8, so 2 more each side. Squeeze in the middle. And 1 more. And then lower the bottom down. We're going to use our arms again, similar to how we were earlier, but introducing our upper abs. So ribs are down. We're going to take both arms back behind us, and that's going to be a breath in now, so that as we bring the fingers forward and we can see them in our eye line, we're going to follow them up with our head and shoulders. Hold at the top there, have a breath or 2. You can see your tummy and make sure it's not doming, and then lower yourself back. Drop the shoulders back, release tension in your neck. When you're ready, have a breath, and as you breathe out, tummy in, pelvic floor engaged, lift and stretch towards your thighs, hold and breathe again, and then lower yourself back down. Now go at your own rhythm, but we're going to aim for 8 of them. So that's 2. Always thinking tummy and pelvic floor just as you're coming up, so there's no sense of pushing down into the pelvis at all. That's really important for protecting yourself from a doming tummy or any pressure on your pelvic organs. Up and look. And drop back. 4 more. Soften the ribs, open out the chest as you go back, blowing out so that when you can see your fingers, you come up and through. And 1 more. Then release any tension in your neck by lifting and dropping your shoulders. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. Leave the head heavy. You can go double time with your shoulders like a rag doll, pounding on your mat. And then let your arms relax. Come and turn on your side to face the front, and we need to switch ends so that we can do our other leg. Stretch an arm out, have your knees bent up to make a lap position. Stack your hips. Breath in to get ready. As you breathe out, think tummy in, little bit of pelvic floor. Blowing out to lift the foot and knee together into lower. Shoulders relaxed. Staying firmly on your side, but lifting as high as you like as long as you don't roll. Three more, right to the top position each time. Keep the tummy in. And one more. Then trying not to lose too much flow, quick check that you've got your core, draw it back if it's slipped away, lift the leg in line with your hip and glide it back. And you want two things, stretch on the front of the thigh, squeeze of the bottom at the back, and then glide forward. If you're not sure whether you're getting the bottom, just put your hand back and give it a poke and it should feel like steel back there, steel, and then draw it forward. Or soft steel. Take it back, get a good stretch, draw forward. Blowing out to take you back, and then you'll ping forward as you breathe in. There's not a lot going on the in. All happening back here, and then you release. Check the tummy muscles haven't snuck off. And two more. Bring the knees back together, let them have a little rest. Then we do 8 more of our lifting up and down, so breath in. Breathing out to engage the center, hips stacked. Lifting high like there's loads of space underneath the thigh. Back down, just a light touch, and then you go straight back up again. And lower. Pilates is sneaky because it's using your own body weight. And the slower you move, the harder everything is. Lovely. Keeping on your side, hips pushed away. 3 more. And last one. Bring the knees together. Check tummy in, get your little waist tunnel back. Lift your foot and knee, draw them back. When you can't go back any further, lengthen out. And then touch the foot to the floor. Enjoy that stretchy feeling, and then we're going to lift from here back to that same behind you spot. Blowing out to lift, into lower. Keep drawing in through the center, enjoy the stretch. Two more. Then pause, foot on the floor, let the stretch develop. Bring your arm forward to bring your hands together, or follow your natural diagonal. Reach as far as you can with your fingertips and toes, and set yourself going for 8 more leg lifts. Long leg, pointing your fingers, enjoying that stretch across the middle of your waist and across the back of your hip. 2 more. And then sink the arms round in front of you, knees together. Let a big billow of air swoop your hand up and allow you to drop back into a lovely big stretch. Breathe deep and wide, and then draw your hands together again. Float up, open and stretch. Come forward. Open. Let yourself a little roll back. Breathe deep and wide. 2 more. Lovely. Then come and turn onto your back for a few stretches to finish. Bring one knee into your chest and then lengthen out the opposite one. Hug this knee in, getting right round the hip. Lengthen the one that's out long. Drop your shoulders. Let gravity do the work. And breathe. Then slide the foot in and change them round. Fold one in towards your chest, unhook your bottom so you get a good curl, and then slowly straighten the other one out. Enjoy the stretch and breathe. Then let this leg go out long as well. Take both hands back overhead and have a hitch from side to side, making one side move and then making the other side move. Start to slow down like a battery running out of power. Draw your arms down beside you. Pull your feet up and down. You can do them together or separate. Point and flex. And again, let them slow down like they're running out of batteries. Feel the weight of your head on the mat. Let your ear turn towards the floor, giving a gentle stretch on the side of your neck. Then slide on your hair as you follow your nose towards the ceiling and turn your other ear to your mat. Then come back to the middle. Leave your head lovely and heavy. Hips heavy, feet relaxed as we enjoy a few minutes of relaxation. You can stay here on your back, or you can join me sitting up or somewhere in between lying on your side. And we'll work around the body, making sure that the big muscle groups have switched off and helping you to get into that lovely zen where mind and body are in the same place. Become conscious of your breathing, but don't try and change it. Allow yourself to breathe in and out naturally. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears to make a nice big space. Then gently press your shoulders down towards your feet and release them. Draw your shoulder blades together behind you. Let them go. Now allow a warm, heavy feeling to drift from the back of your neck, down across your shoulders and into your arms. Let your arms be heavy, elbows soft, wrists and hands floppy. Give each finger its own space and let the air float round and in between them. Stretch out your fingers to the tips of your fingernails and then release them. stretch them again, opening up the webs and the creases. Let them fall. Then leave your hands floating away beside you. Wrists and elbows soft, shoulders heavy. Come back to the middle and tune back into your breathing again. With each breath in, fill your lungs up with air. And then with each breath out, let the bones of your spine sink deeper into the mat. Let your hips roll out heavy. Release your abdominals. Release your pelvic floor. Help your legs to relax by squeezing your bottom muscles and then letting them go. Tension your knees and then release them. Stretch your calves by pulling your feet up, then point them away and let them go floppy. Wiggle your toes away from their neighbours. Let them fall. Now leave your feet floating away. Ankles and knees soft, hips heavy, and come back to the middle to think about your breathing again. Check on your face and your head. Let your cheeks be soft. Let your teeth unclench. Let your tongue come away from the roof of your mouth. Lick your lips if they're dry. Then let the air float in through your nose and off the top of your head, taking any frowns with it. Stretch your eyebrows up. Let them fall. Then let your eyeballs sink behind your eyelids. And enjoy a minute to yourself before we have a final stretch. Now in your own time, start to find your hands and your feet again and gradually bring yourself back to life. Have some deep breaths and a little bit of a cat stretch till you're ready to open your eyes. And then come and roll on your side and work your way back to kneeling on your mat again. Grow tall, drop your shoulders, bring your chin up. Check you've got some abdominals in. Let one arm float up, lift and lean to the side, dropping your ear towards the floor. Have a lovely stretch and then use your other arm for a bit of momentum. Come the other way. And then up and over and stretch. Up and over and stretch. Bring your hands up in front of you and follow the fingers of your eyes round to one side, back to the middle, follow round, back to the middle. Then take both hands up. Bring them down beside your knees. Swing back onto your toes. Push through your legs. Lengthen and let your hands come away, drawing yourself up tall again. Think beautiful posture again before we finish. Breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, bit of pelvic floor, shoulders relaxed. Take your hands up beside you, turn and stretch. Open to the tips of your fingernails, come down. Lift up on your tiptoes, pull up through your core, big stretch overhead. And down. And one more, all the way up and overhead. Then bring your hands down and try to carry this lovely posture away with you. Thank you very much.